What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another favorites video for you. So today we're doing a pretty exciting one. I am sharing with you my top 21 polishes that came out in 2021. I did already do a video on my top favorite nail polish collections that came out, so I will link that up in the cards, but I feel like that just consisted of collections where I liked every polish in the collection, but I also wanted to share some individual shades that I thought really stood out, the polishes that I found myself wearing the most over the course of the year, and just the ones that had really incredible formulas or really impressive colors or both. So that's what we're doing today. And I do want to say right off the bat, the title of the video is a lie. I actually have 22 favorites, but I feel like 22 favorites of 2021 just doesn't have the same ring to it. I'm telling you, I really tried to narrow it down. I actually started off with 42 polishes in this list, and I managed to get rid of 20 of them, but I just could not pick one more to get rid of. These are truly my absolute favorites. We'll just say 21 and there will happen to be 22 and it's fine. I actually wonder how many people would have noticed if I hadn't said it, but I just hate lying to you guys, so I had to say it. So yeah, I am not going in order of favorites. I'm just kind of going in a sort of rainbow order here. And I also want to note that I tried not to do too many overlaps with the favorite collections of 2021. I wanted to showcase polishes that I didn't share in that video, but there are a little bit of overlapping colors in here. And that's just because some of them were just absolute favorites and I could not bear to not show them to you. So yeah, let's just dive right in. So first up in my favorites of 2021, we have Orly Synthetic Symphony. Now I did just say that I'm not going in order of favorites, but I do have to say this polish is definitely in my top 5 favorites of the year and possibly of all time. So this one's a very important one to me. It's this deep neon cool toned purple cream and it is just out of this world. I'm actually wearing it right now and I have worn it so many times. I cannot get enough of it. This polish is the number one reason why the Orly Summer 2021 collection was the top favorite of my favorite collections. It's just a really outstanding color. It's so eye-catching. The formula is incredible. It's super smooth. It's super self-leveling. It doesn't feel very thick like most neons, and it does give me almost one coat full coverage. I just feel like it's so impressive that they made such a deep tone into such a bright neon kind of color. I just think it's very eye-catching, and every time I've worn it, people have pointed it out. So yeah, I just absolutely love this one. Cannot say enough good things about it. Next up, we have yet another purple. This is Picture Polish Lilas. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but that is what pronunciation guides on YouTube have told me. So you guys know that I just love purple nail polishes. That's why I wanted to start this video off with my favorite purples. But in particular, I really love cool toned purples, and this is a very cool toned lavender shade. It also has these black matte micro glitters as well as a very subtle holographic sparkle, and I just feel like the combination of the cool toned purple, the black glitters, that hollow sparkle just makes it an obvious favorite of mine. I love all of those things. I absolutely love these like speckled polishes. It was part of a collection by Picture Polish that actually had all speckled shades and I loved all of them, but of course this one was my favorite because I just can't get enough of this color, and it's just an amazing formula. Again, they are a plant-based formula, which I think is really awesome. It just has such a nice opacity, such a nice self-levelingness to it, and I absolutely adore the Picture Polish brush. It just makes application so easy and I almost never have to do any cleanup with it. So yeah, just another really great polish that came out this year. Last year. Oh my gosh, it's already 2022. Next up, we have KB Shimmer Wrap It Up. This is actually a newer polish. It came out for their winter 2021 collection, but as soon as I got this polish, it absolutely blew me away. It's another cool tone purple, no surprise there. This one has a really intense coppery fuchsia duochromy shimmer in there, and at more extreme angles, it actually looks like greenish on the nails, which I think is really awesome. And then there's these crazy gorgeous flakes of silver hollow. It's just jam-packed with excitement, and on top of that, the formula is just incredible. Again, one of my favorite brushes in here. I feel like this is definitely one of the top polishes that I have ever seen KB Shimmer come out with. It's just perfect to me. Next up, we have ILNP Broadway. This one is a really beautiful pinky toned maroon that has a scattered holographic sparkle running throughout. Now, I have really been enjoying ILNP ILNP for a little while now, but I think this is the polish that made me really fall in love with the brand. It's a really delicate formula, but the color is very bold, and it also gives me full coverage in 2 coats, which I feel like in the past has been a little rare for ILNP, but recently they've just been doing such a great job with their coverage, and I really appreciate that. And it's also really packed with that holographic sparkle. I feel like a lot of times this sort of jelly-like formula has a more sparse holo pigment in it, but this one is just packed, so it always looks really sparkly on the nails. Next up, we have OPI Raising Your Voice. This was part of their Nature Strong line. I feel like this might come as a surprise to people because I don't often wear red nail polish, but to be fair, I did have red in my hair for a long time this year, so I found myself gravitating a little bit more towards these kind of colors. This came out in summer 2021. It was part of their new Nature Strong line. They came out with a bunch of colors, but I feel like this color was the standout for me. It's a deep red shimmer that has a little pink and silvery sparkle that just adds so much dimension to it. Like I said, it came out in the summer, but it immediately felt like a perfect holiday polish to me. There's just something very rich and wintry about it, and I really love that. And again, it kind of has that jeweled tone feel to it, and just a really impressive formula as well. I really hope to see more Nature Strong polishes from OPI, so hopefully we will see more of that in 2022. Next up, we have a polish from Ice Cream Nails. This one is called Killing It. I have always said this about Ice Cream Nails, and it remains true. They are one of my top brands for neon polishes. They just make really incredible ones when it comes to color and opacity. They are just one of the top brands in the game. They had a lot of really great ones this year, but I would say this one's probably the one I reach for the most. It's a very cool toned neon pink that has this sort of lightness to it that actually makes it look like I have a white base underneath, but it's actually fully opaque in 2 coats. It's not as self-leveling as some of their other polishes, but I feel like it's easily forgivable just because it's so opaque. You just need to be a little bit more careful. But overall, absolutely love this one. And I've got another Ice Cream Nails polish here. This one is called Love Nectar, and this is just another shade that I instantly fell in love with as soon as I tried it. I actually heard from the brand that this was one of their lower selling polishes, and I was shocked to hear that because I think this is my favorite gold for sure that came out in 2021, but it's definitely a top favorite of all time now as well. It's this super orangey gold shimmer, and there's also these little flecks of a brighter yellowy gold in there. It just looks very dimensional. It's really gorgeous. It's 2 coat coverage, and I just feel like it's so nice and warm and bright. You can use this for nail art, you can use it as an accent nail, or you can just wear it as a full manicure, and it's just a very eye-catching color. Next up, we have a polish from China Glaze. This one is called Tropic Like It's Hot, and oh man, I have so many thoughts on this color. So this was part of their summer 2021 collection, and that was actually one of my top favorites as well. It didn't make it into my top 5 list, but I would honestly say this was probably number 6 because it was really incredible. But I would say this was probably the most important color to me. It's a super almost green toned highlighter neon yellow cream shade, and this color was just the answer to my neon yellow prayers. For those of you who have or have seen China Glaze Celtic Sun and was disappointed in it, this is basically just the response to that color in my opinion. It looks almost the same, but whereas Celtic Sun is at least 4 coats and still not opaque, this one does give full coverage on my nails at least in 3 coats, and it's also really great for nail art. It just has a much more opaque base to it, so if you've ever been disappointed by China Glaze neons before, I think this is the remedy to that. And I feel like I've always loved Celtic Sun in the bottle, but now that I have a more opaque version of it, I just always reach for this one instead, and I'm never disappointed. Next up, we have a shade from Holo Taco. This one is called Full Charge, and this is a really beautiful lime green linear holo. I feel like 2021 was the year that brands finally embraced green nail polish, and I could not be happier about that because I have always said there aren't enough green nail polishes in the world, but I just love seeing more unique greens out there and not just the typical shades. This is definitely a unique color to my collection. I haven't seen this sort of chartreusey lime color in a linear holo formula, and I thought that was really impressive. I also liked the color, and I liked how holographic it was. It definitely doesn't lose that rainbow sparkle, even though it is a brighter, more neon color. And this was also my favorite Holo Taco collection of the year. I just think overall they did a great job. Definitely enjoyed this color. This was the standout for for me. Next up, we have Ice Cream Nails Animalistic, yet another Ice Cream Nails polish. But they came out with a bunch of good colors this year. But I have to say, this is probably the most unique polish that I got in 2021. I just think there's something about it that is so unlike every other color that I have used this year. Last year, I keep saying this year, oh my gosh. So this is a sage green base, and then we've got these gold and pink flecks running throughout, and it just creates such an interesting depth and dimension to the nails. It almost looks like a kind of heathered shirt material, but just the color combination with the gold and that dusty green and that bright pink just feels so interesting and unique. So I absolutely loved it for that, but it also has a really great formula. And again, just really appreciating seeing these unique green polishes coming out in 2021. So highly recommend this one if you haven't picked it up already. It's just super interesting. Next up, we have Sinful Colors Turquoise. So Sinful Colors actually came out with a lot of really interesting finishes this year, and I think that that's something that they consistently do really well, which is experiment with doing different kinds of polishes, and they can be hit or miss. I know a lot of people don't love when Sinful Colors does these outside of the box kind of collections, but I always love them. Even if I don't love the finish, I find myself just loving seeing the creativity of the brand. But when they came out with these sheer mattes, I was very excited. I absolutely love a jelly finish polish, which is those intentionally sheer polishes, and I absolutely love matte finish polishes. So the combination really excited me. I definitely love that whole collection, but I feel like this one is probably the color that I like the most. And as you could guess from the name, it's just a really beautiful turquoisey kind of color. It does have that intentionally sheer finish, and it also dries matte, and it also has a little subtle silver sparkle running throughout. So I like to wear this in 2 coats. I like seeing the visible nail line, but if you want it to be a little bit more opaque, you can do a 3rd coat. When I did my review of these polishes, I showed all of them in 2 and 3 coats, so it really kind of just depends on what mood you're in. Overall, definitely loved that collection. Looking forward to seeing more sheer mattes from them. Next up, we have a polish from Orly. This one is called Spiral. This is one of my collaboration shades, and I really tried not to use too many of my collabs for my favorites because of course I am biased, but there are a couple that I just felt were really important to mention, and this was one of them. This is such a special color to me. It's a blue base that has this duochrome fuchsia to green shimmer as well as a linear hollow sparkle. It's fully opaque in 1 coat, and it's just my favorite formula. I absolutely love this one, and this is a color that I have been holding on to for a really long time, so I'm really glad that we finally released it to the world. I just think it's really fun because it looks different in every lighting. Like sometimes it looks like a really intense blue, sometimes you get that very intense fuchsia, and sometimes it just looks very holographic. Just a very special color to me, and of course it's one of my favorites. Next up, we have another blue hollow, but this one is very different. This is OPI LED Marquee, and this one is more of a cobalt blue. It does have that linear holographic finish as well as a little blue metallic flake running throughout, which adds a really nice bit of dimension to it. But I actually just wanted to share this one because I think as a whole, the collection that OPI came out with for winter 2021 with their hollow polishes was really good. They came out with a lot of really nice saturated colors. I loved their hollow formula. The particles of hollow in these polishes is definitely bigger than what we're probably used to seeing from indie brands. It almost looks a little bit like a scattered hollow finish, but I just thought it was really cool. I love seeing a mainstream brand tackling that holographic finish that we love, and I think this color was such a standout for me. I love these really vibrant blue shades. Just another color that I want to wear non-stop. Next up, we have another polish from KB Shimmer. This one is called Branching Out, and this is actually a tri-thermal. So based on the temperature of your nails, the polish is going to change colors. And I thought this one was really cool. In its cold state, it's this super cool toned, almost blue purple base, and it has these really beautiful shifty iridescent flakes in it that shift from yellow to gold to orange to green and then even blue. But then as it gets warmer, it turns blue. And then in its warm state, it's this really soft minty color. And I found myself wearing this one a lot. I just think color changing polishes are so fascinating. I absolutely love wearing them. And I just love seeing which of my nails are cold and which are warm. I know a lot of people who have short nails tend to stay away from these types of thermal polishes because I know you see them on longer nails and it kind of has this natural gradient to it. But I feel like even with my short nails, I see so much color shift. Sometimes some of my fingers are just in the cold state and some are in the warm state. Like I notice the fingers that I'm more active with, like these 3 fingers, are usually warm and then these 2 are cold. So if you haven't tried a thermal before because you feel like your nails are too short, I highly recommend trying, especially with the more sensitive colors like this that will change at the slightest shift in temperature. You'll definitely still get a lot of fun color changing. Okay, next up we have Kelly's Antimatter from Orly. This is another collab. This one's actually not available anymore, but it was another one that I really had to share with you guys. It's a black base that has blue and red shimmer in it. And I just feel like that combination is super unique and interesting. It feels very spacey. I also loved the opacity of this one. It is 1 coat coverage and I do wear it just in 1 coat. I love that the Orly formula is nice and thick, so it doesn't feel like you don't have enough. Sometimes I feel like, especially with like OPI, I'll do 1 coat and it'll be fully opaque, but it just doesn't feel like I have enough nail polish on my nails. I don't think that's the case at all with Orly. They're definitely thick enough that it feels like a full manicure, but they're not too thick so that it's difficult to wear. But yeah, this was just a very special collab for me and I just think this was such a standout color. Next up, we have yet another KV shimmer. I could not get enough of them in 2021. This is another newer shade. It's called Tapped Out and this is actually a really exciting finish. It's that flash reactive finish, so when you see it with a phone flash or a camera flash or a flashlight, it gives off this really crazy reflective sparkle. And I thought it was really cool because KB Shimmer definitely did the best formula for those reflective polishes, which were pretty popular in 2021. But I also feel like this was the most unique color combo that I've seen of it. So it's this dark teal base that has a really intense purple shimmer that's also a duochrome, so at some extreme angles it actually looks neon green shimmer, and then we also have that silver super sparkly reflective shimmer in there. So the formula was absolutely amazing. I just love the way that it looks sparkly in regular lighting. It definitely has a higher sparkle than regular shimmery polishes, so I think that's really cool, but I just love that duochrome shimmer in there. I think it makes it very unique. Next up we have ILNP Rain. This is another one that I totally fell in love with from the brand. This was part of their winter 2021 collection, so I haven't gotten to wear it as much as I want to, but it's just another really good formula. Again, it's that jelly finish that has a holographic sparkle running throughout. This one's actually a little bit more opaque. It's this nice, very, very dusty blue-gray base. It has a jelly feel to it, but it ends up giving me this almost cream coverage while still being able to show the holographic sparkle through the layers. So I thought that was really awesome. Again, it just has a nice amount of holographic shimmer in there, so you get a nice contrast between that very subtle base color and the very saturated rainbow sparkle. So I just think it's another really gorgeous one. I find myself enjoying ILNP more and more with their recent collections. Next up we have another Starly collab shade. This one is called Crater. This is the last of the collabs that I'm going to be talking about, but I really wanted to mention this one because I feel like it was pretty wild to come out with a cream finish in my collabs. I actually did 2 cream finishes and I would have never done that if it weren't for the absolute perfection that is the Starly cream formula. They definitely have one of the best cream finishes that I have ever tried from any brand, especially in indie. And this one in particular was very special to me because I was looking for a very particular shade of gray that I considered to be like my perfect neutral color. So it's a nice medium, slightly cool toned gray. Again, amazing formula. I love the Starly cream formula. If you haven't tried it, you absolutely must. It's very good. This one gives me perfect coverage in 1 coat. I have just been wearing it as 1 coat and I think it's just an absolute perfect shade of gray. Of course, like I said, I am biased and I do love all of my collab shades, but these are the ones that I've been wearing the most. Next up, we have Sinful Colors Smoky Palo Santo. This was actually kind of hard to decide on because I really loved the entire collection that this polish came from, which was their Essentials collection, but I think this is the color that I've been wearing the most out of that collection. It's a really beautiful, very deep, cool toned brown that has a silver micro glitter sparkle running throughout. And just so you guys know, the entire Essentials line is supposed to be scented. Now, I don't know if it's just because I have a terrible sense of smell, but I really didn't smell any scent for the majority of these, but a lot of people in the comments of my review said that they do, so just something to be aware of if you're sensitive to different smells. I just love this whole collection. This color in particular is really gorgeous. I've been using it a lot for nail art. I've just been wearing it a lot. I love that really deep, almost black color paired with that bright silver shimmer. I just think it's a really interesting color. Moving on, the last three polishes that I'm talking about are toppers. You guys know I'm very into toppers. I think at this point we can say it's not a topper phase. I just love toppers now and I try to wear them as often as possible. The first one is Cirque Spotted. This was actually a limited edition polish and it's not available anymore, but I'm hoping that they decide to bring it back at some point because this was such a groundbreaking topper for me. I've mentioned a bunch of times that I absolutely love speckled polishes. I love that matte black glitter in jelly finishes, and what Cirque did was they actually made that into a top coat so you can make any polish into a speckled polish, and I thought that was really awesome. It's just these little irregular black flecks and it adds a really cool dimension to your manicure. I think it's just a fun way to add a little bit of extra texture and just kind of creates a whole new color in my opinion. So I thought this one was really cool. I absolutely love it. Like I said, I really hope they bring this one back. Next up, we have Amylite from Fun Lacquer, and this one is an iridescent flaky topper. And I have absolutely been loving iridescent flakies. I think this one was a big standout to me though because the combination of flakes in here is very unique. It looks like they actually used a few different types of iridescent flakes, whereas most brands will just do one color of flakes in each polish. So I thought that was really cool. There's some that have a very strong orange leaning color that shift into like gold, and then there's also these very strong purpley toned ones that shift into pink, and I just think that's a really unique combination. Don't think I have seen anything like it, and again, I've just been really enjoying iridescent flakes, but I just very much enjoyed the uniqueness of this one. And last but definitely not least, we have Orly Hits the Spot. This was one of their collaborations with Lisa Frank, and I just had to say that was the collaboration of my dreams. I loved every color in it, but this one was the absolute best. It's such a fun topper. It's a clear base and then it has a rainbow of matte glitters in these neon colors. So we've got light blue, we've got deeper blue, we've got orange, we've got pink that leans a little bit fuchsia, and then we also have this lime green. There's also these yellow star glitters. I haven't been able to get them in my swatches, but they are in there. And then there's also these smaller warm toned purple and hot pink micro glitters in there. And then to top it all off, there's a holographic sparkle. So I just feel like this is so on brand for Lisa Frank. I think it's such a fun color. I absolutely love the packaging of this. It feels very nostalgic and fun for me, but I just think it kind of brightens up whatever you're wearing, and I think it makes it really interesting. It definitely feels like a 90s vibe, and as a 90s kid, I really appreciate that. So yeah, that was my list, my top 21, which is actually 22 polishes that came out in 2021. Like I said, it was really hard to narrow it down, but I think what it really came down to was the polishes that I found myself wearing over and over again. I have so many polishes, so if I wear a polish frequently, then that's how I know that it's a favorite for me, because I just have so many options, you know? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my favorites. I'm curious if any of our favorites overlap, if there are any polishes that you think were the absolute standouts of 2021. I would love to hear them in the comments, or if any of my favorites are your favorites. If you have some favorites that I haven't even tried, also let me know. I'm very curious. If you enjoy my favorites videos, I do have a whole series of my favorite polishes of all time, and then I also do seasonal favorites, so I'll link the playlist up in the cards. You can check that out if you're interested, but I would really appreciate if you gave this video video a thumbs up. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I put out new videos every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. I'm looking forward to seeing what polishes come out in 2022. I'm hoping they get even better than this. So stick around and we'll find out together. Huge shout out to my Cosmic Admirals on Patreon, Amanda M, Braxton Scott, and Rocket Man's daughter. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question comes from Patreon supporter Amanda, and Amanda wants to know, does Ryan ever sit in the room when you're doing your intros and outros, and does it ever throw you off your rhythm? I ask because in your bloopers, you sometimes look like you're talking to somebody, and I'm wondering if that's you talking to yourself or talking to someone else in the room. So I did just post on my vlog channel all of my bloopers from 2021, if you're looking for that for reference. I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I am 100% talking to myself. I don't think Ryan has ever been in here while I was filming before. The only times he ever has is if he like comes in while I'm swatching, and it scares me because I'm focusing on my nails. But yeah, I'm 100% talking to myself. I feel like I always look off over here for some reason. That's because there's a light right here, and whenever I'm thinking, I just like look at it. I don't know why. Don't think there's any particular, it's not a very interesting looking light. I'm sorry, lamp. You're very pretty, but you're not that interesting to look at. But I talk to myself. I feel like it's interesting because when I'm filming these videos, I don't feel like I'm sitting in an empty room talking to a camera, which is what I am actually doing in real life. But just because I've been doing this for so long, and I know that after I film the video, it goes out to you all and then I answer the comments, like I feel like I'm talking to you guys. So even when I'm talking to myself, I still kind of feel like I'm talking to you, which I feel like is really embarrassing to admit, but yeah, that's kind of how it goes for me. But I think that actually really helps because then it doesn't feel weird to just be talking to a camera for hours at a time. That's it. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.